Okay, first lesson in the first of a bunch of units taking us from here to the end of the school year in 2020. This lesson's on substitution. It's the first one of a couple. So all we're doing when we're substituting, this one says evaluate this. In other words, figure out what this is when you plug in 4 for x. So literally you replace the x with a 4. Now you got to keep in mind that if two things are written next to each other in algebra, that means multiplication. So really what you're doing is 3 times 4 and then add 5. And of course 3 times 4 is 12. You do the multiplication first, plus the 5, and the answer to this one would just be 17. And that's it. Now, you've evaluated this expression when plugging in this. Let's look at a few more examples. So positives and negatives can cause us headaches. So we'll throw those in here, when negatives in particular can cause us headaches. So let's look at this. So it says evaluate this expression when x is negative 3. So everywhere we see an x, shows up in a couple places, we're going to replace it with a negative 3. And remember, written next to each other, it's multiplication. So this is going to become negative 7. I like using parentheses when I'm doing this. Times a negative 3. That tells me that if I write the parentheses and I write them next to each other, that's multiplication. Plus 11 times negative 3. And I could even write parentheses around both of these if I wanted, just to kind of clarify. I kind of like using parentheses just when there's negatives involved in multiplication, just to make sure I don't get confused. So we do the multiplications first. So negative 7 times negative 3, so negative times a negative is a positive, and that's 21. Here, I have a positive 11 times a negative 3. That's a negative 33. So I'm going to write this as a minus 33. Another option people might write is they might write 21 plus a negative 33. This and this are the same, and I like the simplicity of this. So 21 minus 33, don't panic. I know, it's a little strange. Feel free to use a calculator. I will be using this one whenever I can because it's the one that's probably closest to what you're getting. Or for some of the later stuff, I'll be using its more fancy version. So in this case, it's just 21 minus 33. Don't worry, it's going to come out negative 12. That happens. It's fine. All right, third of 4 examples. So we're going to plug in 2 everywhere we see an x. A lot of x's here, set of parentheses, but we'll figure it out. So we'll take this 2. I'm going to plug it in here first. So it's going to be 4 times 2 times whatever 3. 3 minus 2. So 3 minus 2. This is a positive, but this negative is there, so okay, makes sense. Parenthesis plus 5 times 2. All right, well, let's take care of what's inside these parentheses first. That's 3 minus 2. That's just 1. So I have over here, I have 4 times 2 times 1 plus 5 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 1 is just 8. Plus 5 times 2 is 10, and so this comes out to be 18. So just watch your order of operations after you put them in. All right. So of these, here we go. We got a slightly the same kind of complicated expression. We have a negative here to plug in, so that's going to be the thing that we're going to have to look out for. But if we're patient about it, we'll be okay. So we're going to take that negative 5, put it in everywhere we see an x. So 6 times negative 5, 17, this is interesting, minus a negative 5. We'll come back to that. Minus 3 times negative 5. A couple things in there to look at. Let's take care of this inside these parentheses. So minusing a negative or subtracting a negative is the same as adding. So this could really just be looked at as a plus. So I really have, and notice I'm not in a hurry to do stuff. Just do one piece at a time. If you got to do too much or do too much in your head, you're going to be in trouble. Let's see, that's going to be 22 minus, this is interesting over here. I have this minus sign. Is it a minus? Is it a negative on the 3? We'll look at it either way. All right, so I took care of these parentheses. Now we'll do these multiplications. 6 times negative 5 is negative 30 times 22. Minus 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. So we have one of those minus a negative situations again. Meanwhile, we'll do 30 times 22, or negative 30 times 22. So 30, make it negative, times 22. All right, it's negative 660. Negative 660 plus 15. Plus 15 equals negative 645. There you go. Okay, so you are now going to move on to the practice set for this. And these instructions should already be in the assignment, but now that you've watched this video, you're going to try the practice, which are very similar. The answers will be provided somewhere for you to check to make sure you've done them right. And if you're feeling comfortable about them, then you move on to the quiz. Well, actually, you move on to set B, practice, the lesson B. Watch it, do its practice set, and when you feel comfortable with both of those, you take the quiz. And then you're essentially done this little unit. There is an extension to the unit that you can watch a video on and take a quiz on to try to add some points to it. Say you didn't do too well on one of the quizzes. Sorry, on the quiz. That you might watch the extension and get some points that way. But the extension parts are not mandatory. All right, good luck.